monitor those family members for any kind of racial insensitivities, and if they said anything that was racially insensitive, that they needed to reprimand those individuals so that they could then be enlightened that their comments were, quote, racist. Let's say they said something that was off color or made a joke or anyway. She wanted to send out the students to be sort of the moral policemen and policewomen for this new era.
Okay. Okay, I thought it went a little further than that. But I wanted to tie it in to something you said on your television show, the commentary I just saw on Sunday night regarding the NFL player.
Michael Sam, right.
You're given is now told he has to take sensitivity classes.
Right.
And you were referring that to, dictatorships and regimes have gone by.
Right.
And it seems like, between the two, the things you were referring to, you were speaking about on your show, and this comment made by the First Lady, we're on the verge of basically losing our liberty to speak, our liberty to express ourselves. You said it so well in your show.
Thank you.
It needs to be said more and more often that we should have the freedom to speak our mind if we don't agree with a certain type of lifestyle, such as the football player who didn't accept the gay kissing. We shouldn't have to be punished for this. And you brought that out very well, but it seems like, between this college speech given by the First Lady, we're on the verge of being totally inhibited from speaking our mind about anything.
Well, I think we are. I think we're there. I think we're at that point. And there's this politically correct police that are out there really enforcing this. And if you do happen to share a view that is maybe traditional about marriage or sexuality or whatever it is, you could be in danger of losing your job. I don't think you'd be playing for the NFL. You're probably not going to be on any of these networks. You're not going to get a show on HGTV. So maybe, yeah.
If the football player declined to take this sensitivity class, do you think he would have lost his job?
Definitely. No question about it. He'd be gone.
He would be gone.
If he didn't, he would have lost his job if he didn't apologize. He apologized to Michael Sam.
Oh, okay, he did. Okay,
and then was suspended and fined. And then as the final step in his re-education, he was sent to this, quote, training. Is this the United States of America or what? It's just, do we have the First Amendment here or not?
Yeah, we reached the place of charity in this country when we can't, when that kind of thing is happening, Okay, Jeff, that was it.
All right, my friend. Hey, always good to hear from you. We're going to take a brief time out now. When we come back, we'll get started with Steve Sabludowsky, a publisher of Bayoubuzz.com. Our Ringside All-Star checks in with us on Tuesdays, and then we want to take your calls, 504-556-9696. Any topic you want to address is fair game on this wide-ranging discussion. Everything from gay rights to what's going on in the Sudan as a Christian is imprisoned. Also, will we get the Super Bowl? Appeals court won't rehear the BP settlement case. Local media asking whether you feel safe on Canal Street. 70 crimes within a half block of a shooting there recently. Treasury Department saying we might need to borrow money for colleges. We'll talk to Steve about the new commercial with Mary Landrieu and Moon Landrieu. Is this effective in her chances for getting reelected? A lot more we'll get into, but first, a brief timeout.
Hey, it's Corey Johnson again with Mark Dayfelice here at Pascal's Manali on Napoleon. Hey, Mark, you guys are obviously known for the original barbecue shrimp, but you've also got a bunch of other New Orleans favorites.
You've got to try the combination pan roast. It's a blend of Louisiana shrimp, bread, seasoned, and baked.
Hey, you ready now?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay,
we're
great.
Live right now. Okay.
All right. What are some of the topics you want to address?
We can talk about the Landrieu thing. We can.
Yeah.
Isn't it time for Manali's again?
You want to talk about any? You want to delve into that poll anymore, or?
Sure. Whatever. By the way, we are live right now.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Start earning lunch on
Great. We'll be back in about a minute.
Okay.
Boulevard feels you deserve it for being loyal to us. So whether you want something light, like our made-to-order wraps and salads, or something a little heartier, like our half-pound burger, we are sure to satisfy your needs. See y'all soon at Jiggers.
Got a stained roof? Did you know that algae stains are stealing life from your roof? Do you want a beautiful roof again while saving you thousands of dollars by adding years of life to your existing roof? Call Suburban Roofing at 504-861-ROOF and get a roof shampoo. Roof shampoo is an affordable, eco-friendly, non-bleach, low-pressure roof cleaning system that will beautify and add years of life to your roof. Roof shampoo is the premier roof cleaning system in the industry. It is low cost and the safest, most effective method utilized in 23 states. For more information, go to roofshampoo.com, or for a free roof shampoo estimate, call Suburban Roofing at 861-ROOF.
You face many questions and uncertainties in life. This is Ralph Leopold. Join me for Your Money, Your Life.
Tuesdays at 5 on WGSO 990 AM.
And we can talk about it.
If you like the Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and Tulane sports, then listen to the Scott Alexander Show each and every day at 1 o'clock right here on WGSO 990 AM.
Hey, New Orleans, this is Tim McNally, and we are back every Friday at 5 o'clock right here on WGSO 990 AM for The Wine Show.
Ringside Politics with a Punch and Jeff Crouere are on the air now. Your opinion is valued. In fact, if you like your opinion, you can keep your opinion. And I know you've heard that before. You can believe that's the truth. Call Jeff Crouere now at 556-9696.
Hey, we're back. It's Ringside right here, WGSO. Each day in the program, we have a Ringside All-Star who checks in with us on Tuesdays. It's a publisher of Bayoubuzz.com. And we'll be able to listen on 990 AM and, of course, WGSO.com, or watch this interview at Bayoubuzz.com via Google Hangout. Joining us now, Steve Sabludowsky. And, Steve, what's happening?
Hey, Jeff. What's going on with you?
Hey, lots on the table this morning. Steve, I want to start off by asking you about this ad. A lot of folks been calling in saying they didn't find it very effective to have Mary and Moon together on the commercial. Others thought it was sort of cute and effective. You're an objective analyst. What do you think about it?
Kind of confused by it, to be honest with you. I think it made Moon Landrieu to look kind of like a buffoon. But it's a commercial. I think that I don't really know what the purpose of the commercial was. To be able to establish that she has done things for Louisiana. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people who can do that other than her dad. So, the title of the commercial was Stubborn, and there's part 1 and part 2, and I've seen part 1 and part 2, by the way. And yeah, I mean, she could be viewed as being stubborn in certain ways, that she has done things that, say, anger you and others. And there are certain things that she has done that, her stubbornness has helped out Louisiana, and I think that's what they're trying to convey.
So, I agree with you. I think there are some problems with it. We'll see how it works as far as the voters go. And I didn't realize there was a part 2, Steve. My goodness. So this thing will probably be airing for a while if there's 2 different parts to it.
Yeah, I guess so. Again, I don't really understand it. I probably personally would not have run that commercial. I'm sure that there's a lot of people who are very fond of her dad and her family. And I do believe they have contributed a lot to the community and to the state. Obviously, a lot of people disagree.
But they've also received a lot, wouldn't you say? I mean, they receive a lot of praise, perks, money, prestige, positions, power. They've been quite fortunate, wouldn't you say, thanks to the voters?
Yeah, I would say that, and likewise, I would say the same thing goes for our governor and our other U.S. senator, and so I think that that's just the way politics is.
But the difference is the Landrieux have been there 44 years. I mean, you can just say from Moon on down to the kids. I mean, it's been a continuous 44 years, and Mary's been in office since 1979, so for her, it's 35 years.
Yeah. And look, I don't like the dynasties either. May have one in a few years for president.
But when is enough enough? I mean, 44 freaking years.
When the voters decide is enough. I mean, it's not fair. I mean, you're all in favor of rights, and it's not fair to penalize somebody, whether they're the son of Bush or they're the son of or daughter of Landry.
I don't like dynasties.
I understand that. I don't like them either. But at the same time, you shouldn't punish somebody because they happen to be, the sibling or.
No, I mean, I don't want to punish them. Just go do something in the private sector. I mean, stop, lording over us with your public positions and your public payroll and your perks and all that. I mean, get out there and work. Contribute in another way, as opposed to being an elected official or some government representative. I mean, I don't know. I'm in favor of term limits, as you know, so I don't think she should be serving a fourth term as in the U.S. I don't think anybody should. I think it should be 12 years and you're done.
Okay, so if somebody serves 2 terms as U.S. Senator, how long should they serve as governor?
Well, I mean, that would be up to the voters. I don't think it should be 12 years for any position. I mean, if you want to lead, I don't think they should be in a particular position for decades. So she's been in, I think, 6 years too long. I think 12 years is a good amount in one position. So if you want to leave Senate and run for governor, and then there's a 2-term limit as governor, fine. Then that would be up to the voters. But I don't think in a particular position you should serve longer than 2 terms.
Okay, and so it's up to the voters on one way, but it's not up to the voters in the other. We should impose term limits or some limitations.
Well,
it's
let's listen to the voters about term limits. They want term limits. Let's listen to them. Let's do it.
Sure, and I don't like the idea of somebody who has been a U.S. Senator, to be able to use unlimited amounts of money, to run for governor. I mean, I find that to be very offensive when the state law, restricts the amount.
Mm-hmm.
So it rubs both ways and it runs both ways.
So you're talking about David Vitter's the recent ruling? Mm-hmm.
Sure,
okay.
Absolutely. And being able to raise unlimited amount of money and to use it for a state race, especially to get money from your federal friends, your national donors, etc. I mean, I find that to be very offensive, and I think it circumvents the state law. I'm all in favor, I tell you, of a constitutional amendment on restricting the unlimited amount of money that people are able to put into campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
I call it free speech, but I like the idea of one man, one vote, one woman, one vote, and I think that
I'm in favor of giving as much to the voters as we can. I mean, let's let term limits be decided by the voters. You can have that issue on the table for voters. Let's have voters make decisions on some of these issues the legislature can't deal with. I mean, let's turn it over to the voters. I trust the voters more than I do the politicians.
Well, and I know that you were in favor of the voters being able to decide about the Medicaid expansion. You felt like the voters would have enough. You had enough confidence in the voters to making a decision.
I also think the voters should decide on things such as red light cameras. I don't think a parish should implement those revenue sources, which are like taxes, without the approval of the voters. And I'd be confident the voters would say hell no to those red light cameras, which I don't like.
So
I think they're unconstitutional.
Just out of curiosity, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, where do you draw the line? Where is it that you have a representative government versus governed by?
Well, maybe when they start representing us, we can give them more responsibility. But in so many areas, they're not representing. They're not.
Yeah. So
Obamacare, Steve, look at Obamacare. We didn't want Obamacare. We don't want Obamacare. We got Obamacare. They don't listen to us. Mary Landry didn't listen to us. We sent her thousands of emails. She didn't listen.
So, I understand that, and American voters at this point in time, do not like Obamacare and everything I've seen, at least. But they do not want to nullify it.
Let's see what happens, Steve, at the midterm elections. Let's see what happens at the midterm elections. Here's my sense.
We'll see what happens today. We'll see what happens today.
I think Republicans are going to do well. I think Republicans are going to win more seats, and they got a chance of taking over the Senate.
Sure.
If the people here in Louisiana vote out Mary Landrieu, we could very well have a Republican Senate. And I think one of the big issues should be Obamacare, and I'm hoping these candidates who are running against her start focusing on that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be very exciting. I agree. I think that Louisiana may be, am I correct, because of the jungle primary and then the runoff. Louisiana could be the deciding. I don't know what other elections for U.S. Senate do it the way that we do it.
No, nobody else does it like we do.
So if that's the case, then we'll be the last. We'll be the last to decide.
And I think
unless you went straight up, there was a poll, not the small poll, but another one that was a Democratic oriented, and I think it was 49-49 or 48-48, something like that. Where
here's what
all the other numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I think that that it went to Cassidy, and except for 1% went to Landrieu.
Here's what we got to remember. There's going to be a Reverend Brown in the race who might get a few percentage points. There's going to be Rob Maness, Paul Hollis. These guys are going to start hopefully getting their campaigns going. Rob Maness is already doing commercials. You got Sarah Palin's endorsement. I think he's going to be going up in the polls. I guess Cassidy's going to be continuing to spend money. Landry's spending money like crazy. So, this thing is going to be changing.
Yeah, I know Maris Landrieu is spending money like crazy, and I think that the outside money spending money like crazy on primarily the Kochs, but I think that there's been other ads that would support or would be against the Republicans, and they began to spend money also.
All right, let's do this, Steve. Let's open up the phone lines, our talk line to join the conversation. Love to hear from you, 504-556-9696. Email address jeff@wgso.com. Brought to you by our friends at Sir Speedy, 343 Carondelet in the CBD. Jeff Crouere here, Steve Sabludowsky with us, publisher of Bayoubuzz.com. It's our weekly visit on Google Hangout. You can check us out on Bayoubuzz.com as well. Let's go to our friend. He's the people's champion. His name, Zorro. Zorro, what's going on?
Hey, Crouere, two comments. First, about the what a wonderful family values political ad. Father knows best. It reminded me of Father knows best. The only thing missing was a picture of Moon, and it would have been the perfect ad. These people have been kicking conservative Republican butts for decades. God bless them. Now, on to the second thing I'd like to opine about, and that would be power broker and faux comic book hero Captain Black, who seems confused about Dixiecrats. So Zorro wanted to call it and set him straight. It's not surprising that he's confused, because he should be called Captain Confusion. Dixiecrats were reactionary conservatives and segregationists who would have used Nadra Enzi and then repatriated his arse back to Africa, where he could use his pepper spray on lions and tigers and attempt to sell security systems. Genuine Africans who probably would have shrunken his head as a warning to those who would sell out their own people. Ta-ta.
Zorro. He refers to a call from Captain Black earlier, Steve, where the captain was bringing up questions about the crime situation and lamenting the leadership of Mitch Landrieu as far as fighting crime. And, I was relaying to the listeners that I talked to a police officer yesterday who's leaving, guy with 33 years experience, tells me a lot of experienced officers are leaving. And I think that's going to be more and more of a problem. I don't see it really turning around anytime soon. I asked this officer what the numbers are. He said the real numbers are less than 1,000. So we're getting false information. We could be getting false statistics. And I think this crime problem could be really intensifying in the days ahead unless something dramatic is done soon.
Sure, and especially if you're looking at a $35 to $45 million obligation that we have, the city has, that at this point is not funded, and those are the court-ordered judgments. So, it's
well, here's what the mayor tried to do. He had a trio of taxes, hotel tax, he had a property tax, and he had a cigarette tax that he proposed. I don't think any of them are going anywhere in the legislature. So that's going to be a challenge for him as a mayor.
Yeah, so what do you cut? You cut his salary and cut, I understand about the
deputy mayors
increase in salaries, and sure, I think that would be a good way of going. It's symbolic, if anything. But what else do you cut? The cops? I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the budget. I don't know the budget, but what do you cut?
Well, I mean, it looks to me that you can start with cutting the deputy mayors and rescinding all the salary increases. That might save you a few million. And then from there, I think you try to, whittle it down little by little and find whatever kind of efficiencies you can. I know that it's a challenge, but I don't think the legislature is going to go with the tax increases. I don't think that is the route to take. And also, I'm wondering, Steve, I mean, the tourism industry, and let's talk about that for a second. It's not good. It's not a good signal to send to the NFL or anybody else about coming to New Orleans if you're going to have the highest hotel taxes in the country, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, definitely not. I mean, you're making a good point. It's not. But let me ask you this: if we have confidence in the voters, then shouldn't the state legislature give the cities and the parishes, etc., the right to decide their own fate? I mean, I'm not endorsing these these taxes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that shouldn't the cities be able to control their own destinies? The mayor has a real problem. I mean, not only are we at the bare bones, but now he's looking at $35 to $40 million in addition, and so where's the money come from?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, he's instituted fee increases on various water bills, sewage bills, other types of revenue mechanisms that he has at his disposal. Maybe he'll throw out more red light cameras out there. Maybe he'll put more parking meters out. Sure, I mean, there are ways he can jack up the taxes that he does already have at his disposal.
Sure, and maybe he can hire the same firm that Bobby Jindal has hired to come up with ways to cut government. You saw what happened yesterday. The Secretary of Revenue tried to convince the committee to accept the proposals that this group who advised the governor, and they said no. We can't estimate the revenues based upon maybes and what ifs. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. I mean, I don't.
Let me ask you this. What is the real situation as far as the budget? I've heard conflicting numbers. It seems like it's a big mystery. I'm also reading this morning that the administration may need to borrow money just to, fund these higher ed facilities. So what are we really looking at here?
I got to tell you, I really don't know. I mean, because I don't think the legislators know at this point in time. There are some people who really do feel that we will have a special session in the fall or in the spring because we still have the Medicaid issue hovering over our head. And what
do we do with the charity hospitals now that this financing mechanism has been turned down by the feds?
And I don't get it. I know our governor just wrote a piece that was published by Fox News yesterday, and he said that he knows a little bit about health care. And I mean, look at his health care program. I mean, it is in a mess.
Yeah. All right, hang on with us, Steve. Let's keep this rolling for one more segment if you can. I'd like to get to some more calls at 504-556-9696. But right now at 10 o'clock, we're going to have to take a brief time out. Time to get the latest from NBC News right here on Ringside of WGSO. Jeff Crouere here. We'll be right back.
The Three Tailgaters Show with Ken, Ed, and Archie on WGSO 990 AM, New Orleans.
NBC News Radio, I'm Peter Alexander at the White House. 6 states from coast to coast hold primaries today, including Kentucky, where the Senate GOP leader is looking to repeat. NBC's Mark Murray.
The NBC Marist poll had Mitch McConnell with a 32-point lead. The question then becomes, what does the general election look like? And those polls
All right. It is Ringside on WGSO, 990 AM, WGSO.com, and Bayoubuzz.com via our Google Hangout, with a Ringside All-Star who joins us on Tuesdays, publisher of Bayoubuzz.com, Steve Sabludowsky, and we've been talking about a lot so far. Got other issues we'll get to. Taking your calls, 504-556-9696. And Steve, one more issue I want to throw on the table and then get back to the calls. With 6 weeks to go until the current fiscal year ends and 2 weeks until the legislative session adjourns, seems like now you've got the State Treasury Department saying the Jindal administration may need to take out another loan to continue to pay for expenses at our colleges and universities. What do you know about this?
Pretty much what you know about it, to be honest with you. This would be, I think, the third loan, and I think the general administration is saying that they'll pay it by the end of July, and that's, they have some money coming in. I'm as flummoxed about this as anybody. I mean, this is the administration that said that, that we should, pay our bills, not take out loans and mortgages, and so.
Well, it's just another indication of what kind of fiscal trouble we're in, right?
Yeah, I mean that's as I understand it, and this is what I'm getting from both sides. The supporters and those people who are say not supporting him, and that is that the economy is doing well, 4.5% in terms of unemployment. But you got to factor in, just like nationwide, you got to factor in, those people who have just given up. But still, Louisiana is doing better than all other southern states, and I think we're number 6 in the nation in terms of unemployment. But nobody can find any jobs. I mean,
well, it's interesting. It's a tale of two statistics, I guess. Chief Executive Magazine also ranked Louisiana number 9 in the nation for business. Texas was ranked number 1, and it's been number 1 for 10 years in a row. And people were saying, hey, that's a sign that we're now becoming more receptive to business in the state. Yet it seems to me that, again, we see major corporations that don't really have headquarters here, and I don't know. I mean, I guess we're getting some improvement as far as the business climate, but I think we're still losing more people than we have coming in. I mean, I think our out-migration still is greater than our in-migration.
Well, there was testimony yesterday in the legislature that I think we're losing 4 members of the faculty, per day. So. I mean, I think that tells you, and the point being that the private sector may be doing better, and hopefully is doing better, but the money is not coming into state government, and so despite our cuts, we're cut to the bone, and have cut way beyond what Jindal has wanted us to cut. But the money is not there, and so we're always going to, and in a year, in 2 years, from everything I have, heard and people I've talked to, that, that we're looking at $1 billion to $2 billion, in the next year or two, and when Bobby leaves and goes to Washington, the rest of us are going to be paying the bills.
Well, speaking of Bobby leaving, today he is, I think, in Florida at a speech to the American Federation for Children. Yesterday he was in New York for a meeting of the Republican Governors Association. So he is still the high-flying, traveling man, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's, he can do very well once he leaves office as a columnist, a travel agent.
Right.
The head of the Secretary of Transportation, as Governor Edwards has said. Look, his future is quite bright. And hopefully the people in Louisiana, their future is bright also. I don't, it's hard to tell. I mean, right now, government future is not bright. I mean,
Right.
I think everybody will agree with that.
All right, let's do this. Let's take some calls. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. Open line in the program. Come join us at 504-556-9696. Our friend James in Metairie is with us. What's going on, James? Good morning.
Well, Jeff, good morning, and Steve. A lot's going on, Jeff. In the last hour, you had a caller who made a comment. It was a gutter punk, low class comment about Mary Landrieu's wake. Conservatives and Republicans wonder why women aren't attracted to today's modern conservative Republican Party. Yeah, just keep talking about females' wake. That's a surefire way to attract more female votes. Second thing is, Jeff, you never know what's going to happen today, next moment. But last week, televangelist, Christian conservative Pat Robertson on his TV show made this statement concerning, let's say evolution and age of the earth. He said, quote, "You have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to think that this earth that we live in only has 6,000 years of existence," Robertson said. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. And he talks about, how fellow fundamentalists who believe that way are fools. Jeff, the people who believe in Santa Claus look down on young earth creationists, and we couldn't even repeal in this just a few weeks ago this creationism law, which is unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. We can't even get that repealed. And education in Louisiana, you say, is good? No, it's not. We teach kids lies and BS. Now,
wait. When did I say education in Louisiana was good? I mean, I've never said that. I mean,
that's not accurate.
Yeah.
But you talk about teaching both sides. There's no both sides to this issue. I mean, that's like in geology, or I'm sorry, in chemistry class, teaching that alchemy is an alternative to chemistry. Now, Steve, I got to give you praise in Bayoubuzz. From time to time, you feature a blog writer, Sinlaw Mar. It's Lamar White. And Jeff, please try to get that guy on as a guest. I think he lives in the Alexandria, Central Louisiana area. Very, very effective blogger who's out there. Anyway, okay, recently, and I want to talk, I'm trying to find the darn article here, but he talked about how Bobby Jindal's refusal to expand, we had a caller earlier, Jeff, who talked about negligent homicide in the VA. Certainly those 40 deaths in Phoenix at the Phoenix VA is inexcusable.
And it's not just Phoenix. We're seeing this scandal grow, and there are other facilities.
Case, and people died because they didn't get health care.
Right.
Lamar White pointed this out, that according to a recent study, that Governor Bobby Jindal's refusal to expand Medicaid in Louisiana will result in the deaths of 542 Louisiana residents, Jeff. Now, if the VA and Barack Obama are guilty of negligent homicide, how about Bobby Jindal being guilty of negligent homicide, Jeff? That's 542 Louisiana.
Where does he get those numbers? And I'll try to have him on, James. I'm not familiar with him, but I'll try to reach out to him. But how does he come up with those numbers?
Well, he's citing a study that, I've got the study here, it's going to pull up here by something on a Health Affairs blog, which was printed in January of this year, and talking about...
Actually, yeah, I read that, and I don't know how they come up with these kind of numbers, 542, 544. It's hard to speculate. And, yeah, James, look, I agree with you. I really believe that the argument that, we ought to have all sides of the discussion, no, this is guised religion, I really have a problem with Bobby Jindal and the religion issue. Yeah, I was thinking back, if I can cut in, and that is back in 2007 when he was running for governor. The Democrats were they were running a commercial about Jindal and his religion, and what he said in his piece, I think Yale or Brown University, and everybody, including myself, said, hey, look, it's not fair to talk about his religion. I mean, that's not really right. And I think the Democrats even misled what he was saying. But guess what? I'm going to reverse myself right now and just say, we should have talked about his religion, okay? Because look at what he's doing right now as he prances around the country, talking about religious liberty because he wants to be president of the United States. And look at what he did to the state. I mean, it is embarrassing, as far as I'm concerned, to endorse a law that says that we, that we should have government money to discuss religion in the veil of science. I mean, I'm sorry. I just totally, and I agree with you, James. I applaud you for your constant efforts. I just agree with you. Some of the statements that you're making, but I think Bobby has. I mean, he's brought religion to this table, okay, and it wasn't the others. I mean, we basically have held off in the discussion. But the more he's talking about religious liberty, okay, you
do agree. You do agree with religious liberty, right? I mean, you do agree that someone shouldn't be criticized for their religion, don't you?
Oh, sure, yeah.
You do. Hold on. You do agree that not everybody believes that evolution is a scientific fact, that it is viewed by many as a theory, just as creationism is a theory.
Sure, and I think we should teach that in religious school for those parents and kids who do want their kids to go to.
But then, why should only one thing be taught in science class that is viewed by many to be just a theory? Why should that be taught as the quote facts?
Okay, so why don't
I mean, I don't think folks that have a belief in creationism believe that only that should be taught. I mean, I think what they're saying is it should be taught side by side with the theory, not the scientific fact, but the theory of evolution, correct?
Okay, so you're going to equate evolution and geology and mathematics, physics, and
no, I'm not talking about physics, math, and geology, and archaeology, and I'm not talking about all those other subjects.
No, but that's all.
I'm not talking about those other.
Evolution.
But Steve, evolution's not a fact. Evolution is not a fact. There's intelligent design. There's all kinds of different offshoots of Darwinism. So how far do you go in the debate? How limited do you want to be in your presentation to students? Okay, I don't think it is necessarily a bad thing to present to students all sorts of different theories and let the student look into all the different theories, have the backing of all the different theories, and let them decide.
Okay,
as opposed to just saying only this is allowed in the classroom. So I think what Jindal is doing, what others are doing, have backed the law. I know James is opposed to it. Really does have the support of the majority of people in Louisiana. I think it does.
How about how about a law that allows the government to support sex education in schools?
Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about evolution. And let's do this. Let's take a brief time out.
Actually, I've got to go, and I do appreciate and I put my money behind science, and I do not put my money behind religion. Being taught in place of science. There's a great place for it, and it's in church, synagogues, mosques, and every place else. Listen, Steve, thank you so much.
All right, I'll see you later today. I don't think that those who have problems with evolution are necessarily wackos. And again, I don't think students should just be presented one side. But I appreciate your view. Thanks to James who called in. Well, let's keep the conversation going. We'll take more of your calls, 504-556-9696. It's ringside right here on WGSO.